Be me, 32 years old, senior product architect at a tier 1 tech giant in San Francisco. Total compensation package hovers around $450K depending on stock vesting. Live in a minimalist apartment in Soma. Concrete walls. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city I technically live in but rarely touch. Everything in my life is optimized. I don't cook. I consume nutrient-dense meal replacements delivered by a subscription service. I don't clean. A silent woman comes twice a week to reset the entropy of my existence. I don't date. I audit potential partners. Life is a systems engineering problem. Most people are running spaghetti code. They act on impulse, fueled by outdated biological drivers and social conditioning. They get married because they fear being alone. They have kids because they lack the imagination to fill their own time. I figured this out back in grad school. While my peers were chasing relationships and experiences, I was building infrastructure. Financial independence is the only metric that matters. My goal is simple. Hit a net worth of $5 million by 35. Retire to a tax haven. Consult remotely for 10 hours a week just to keep the brain sharp. Total autonomy. No dependencies. My parents call me every Sunday at 6 p.m. It is a scheduled event in my Google Calendar. Mom call, 15 minutes. They live in Ohio, Rust Belt, dying town. My dad worked at a plant for 40 years and has nothing to show for it but bad knees and a pension that barely covers inflation. My mom asks if I'm eating enough. She asks if I've met a nice girl. I tell her I'm focusing on my career. She sighs. That specific, heavy sigh of a woman who wants grandkids to validate her own existence. You can't hug a bank account, Alex, she says. I hold back the urge to tell her that a bank account won't wake up one day and decide it doesn't love you anymore. A bank account doesn't require emotional labor. A bank account is truth. I hang up at 6:15 p.m. sharp. Sunday evenings are for biohacking prep. I arrange my supplements for the week. Nootropics, vitamin D, omega-3, microdosed psychedelics for flow state. I check my Oura Ring data. Sleep efficiency was down 2% last week. Unacceptable. I adjust the humidity settings on my smart thermostat. I am a machine. And machines don't need nice girls. Monday morning. 5 a.m. Wake up. Cold plunge in the specialized tub I had installed in the bathroom. The shock of freezing water kills any weakness lingering in the nervous system. Meditate for 20 minutes. Not the spiritual kind. The focus training kind. By 7 a.m., I'm at the office, or rather the campus, open floor plan, ergonomic chairs that cost more than my dad's first car. Everyone here is smart. Everyone here is hungry. But most of them are distracted. I see my coworker, Jason. Same level as me. Brilliant coder. But he looks like a corpse, bags under his eyes deep enough to carry groceries. He just had his second kid. He shows me a picture on his phone while we wait for the espresso machine. Look at her, Alex. She smiled for the first time yesterday. It's a potato wrapped in pink fabric. I nod and say, "That's great, man. Efficient output." He laughs, thinking I'm joking. I'm not. He starts talking about sleep training. He talks about daycare costs that rival my mortgage. He talks about his wife's postpartum depression like it's a feature update he's debugging. I look at him and see a cautionary tale. He is leaking resources. Time, money, energy, all poured into a biological imperative that offers zero guaranteed ROI. You thinking about settling down soon? He asks. I take my black coffee. I'm optimizing for freedom, Jason. Dependencies create drag. He gives me a look. It's a mix of confusion and pity. It's not a dependency, man. It's life. It's biology. I correct him. We have evolved frontal cortexes to override base instincts. You're running legacy software. He shakes his head and walks away. I go back to my standing desk. I feel superior. I am winning. A few months later. Q3 review. I crush my targets. Bonus is substantial. I dump 80% of it into a diversified index fund and some high-risk crypto plays. The dopamine hit of seeing the net worth graph go up is better than sex. Decide to celebrate. Solo trip to Tokyo. Efficiency tourism. I don't do tour guides. I have a spreadsheet of the highest-rated ramen shops by price-to-quality ratio. I stay in a capsule hotel because paying for space I don't use while sleeping is illogical. I walk through Shibuya Crossing. Thousands of people. A sea of humanity. Couples holding hands, parents chasing toddlers. Teenagers laughing in groups. For a split second, the noise feels overwhelming. Not the sound, the signal density. All these connections. All these invisible threads tying people together. It looks messy, inefficient. I go to a high-end whiskey bar in Roppongi, sit alone, order a 25-year-old single malt. A woman sits 2 stools down, late 20s, American. Attractive in a sharp, angular way. She's typing furiously on a tablet. I recognize the interface. Data visualization. I ask. She looks up, eyes cold, assessing. Market analysis for APAC expansion, she says. We start talking. Her name is Sarah. She's a consultant for a massive strategy firm. She lives out of a suitcase. No apartment, just hotels and airport lounges. She maximizes credit card points like it's an art form. She talks about relationships as overhead. She says, I don't have the bandwidth for emotional maintenance. It's like looking in a mirror. A very attractive mirror. We drink 3 more rounds. We discuss the inefficiency of traditional marriage contracts. We agree that children are an ego project for people who can't achieve professional greatness. We go back to her hotel. The sex is precise, technical, satisfying in the way a perfectly executed code compile is satisfying. Afterward, we don't cuddle. She checks her email. I check the futures market. You're efficient, she says without looking up. You too, I reply. We part ways the next morning. No exchange of numbers, just a LinkedIn connection request 2 days later. I accept it. I tell myself this is the peak of human interaction. 2 sovereign entities colliding, exchanging value and departing without baggage. Perfect. So why does the flight home feel so long? Back in SF. The silence in my apartment hits differently this time. Usually, it feels like peace. Tonight, it feels like a vacuum. I shake it off. Just jet lag. Cortisol levels are probably spiked. I need to up my magnesium intake. My college roommate, Ben, reaches out. He's getting married in Napa, wants me to be a groomsman. I calculate the cost. Tux rental, bachelor party, travel, gift. Approx $2,000 in 3 days of lost productivity. I almost say no. But Ben was the one guy in college who could keep up with me in algorithms. I agree. The bachelor party is in Vegas. Predictable. High-end steakhouse. Blackjack tables. Ben is beaming. He's marrying a girl named Emily. Teacher. Makes $50K a year. I asked him once why he didn't find someone with a compatible income bracket. She makes me laugh, Alex. She makes the quiet moments not feel empty. I didn't understand what he meant then. At the blackjack table, Ben is losing money. He doesn't care. He's laughing with the other guys. I'm counting cards. I'm up $500. I'm bored. One of the other groomsmen, Mike, asks me about my life. You seeing anyone, Alex? I'm focusing on early retirement, I recite. Mike laughs. You're gonna retire to what? An empty house? To freedom? I say sharply. To doing whatever I want, whenever I want? Yeah, but who you gonna do it with? I take a sip of my drink. Why does there have to be a who? Why is solitude viewed as a defect? Mike shrugs. It's not a defect, man. It's just we're pack animals. Evolution doesn't give a shit about your Roth IRA. I roll my eyes. Evolution is a suggestion, not a command. The wedding day. Vineyard. Sunset. The lighting is perfect for photos, which is the only reason people do this. Ben is standing at the altar. He looks terrified and ecstatic. Emily walks down the aisle. She's crying. Her dad is crying. Half the audience is crying. I feel nothing. I am observing a ritual. A contract signing ceremony wrapped in overpriced flowers. During the vows, Ben's voice cracks. I promise to build a life with you, not just alongside you. I analyze the statement. Codependency codified. At the reception, I sit at the singles table. It's a collection of leftovers. A cousin with a loud laugh. A friend from work who drank too much champagne. And a woman named Claire. She's quiet. Not the sleek, corporate quiet of Sarah from Tokyo. A soft, observing quiet. She's wearing a dress that isn't trying too hard. We make small talk. She's a landscape architect. She talks about soil composition and root structures. It takes years for a tree to really anchor, she says. You can't rush stability. I prefer modular systems, I say. Move fast, break things, iterate. She smiles. It's not a polite smile. It's a knowing smile. That works for code, Alex. But people aren't apps. You can't patch a human connection. Sure you can. I counter. Therapy is just debugging. Dating apps are just search algorithms. She laughs softly. You view the world as a problem to be solved. Isn't it? No, she says. It's an experience to be felt. If you solve everything, there's no mystery left. Just data. I want to argue. I want to crush her logic with facts. But the way the candlelight hits her eyes makes me pause. We dance. I don't dance. But she asks, and saying no seems inefficient. She smells like rain and vanilla. Not expensive perfume, just organic. For 3 minutes, I am not thinking about my net worth. I am not thinking about my sleep score. I am just moving. Then the song ends. The spell breaks. I go back to the hotel. I look up her profile online. Modest income, student loans, lives in a shared house in Oakland, statistical liability, a bad investment. I close the tab. I fly home the next day. Back to the grind. 2 years pass. I am 34. Net worth hits 3.5 million. I am ahead of schedule. I get promoted to director of engineering. My parents' calls on Sundays get shorter. My dad's health is failing. He forgets things. He repeats stories about the time he took me fishing when I was 7. I remember that trip. I was bored. I wanted to play Game Boy. Now he talks about it like it was the Odyssey. We really bonded that day, Alex. Yeah, Dad, it was good. I check my watch. 6:14 p.m. Gotta run, Dad. Prep time. I hang up. I feel a twinge in my chest. Indigestion. I switch my meal replacement to a low FODMAP version. I decide to try dating again, systematically. I hire a matchmaker. High-end service. $10,000 retainer. I want a partner who is autonomous, high-earning, and logical, I tell the matchmaker. She nods. We have candidates. I go on dates. CFOs, surgeons, lawyers. It's like interviewing for a merger. We compare portfolios. We discuss prenups on the second date. It's efficient. It's painless. It's completely dead. One woman, Jessica, seems perfect on paper. Hedge fund manager. Triathlete. We date for 3 months. We schedule sex for Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings. We optimize our weekends. Hiking for cardio. Museums for cultural capital. One night after efficient Tuesday sex, she turns to me. Do you love me, Alex? The question annoys me. We are compatible, Jessica. We share goals. We function well. She sits up. That's a performance review, not an answer. Love is a biochemical reaction designed to induce pair bonding for child rearing, I say. We aren't having children, so we can bypass the delusion. She looks at me. Really looks at me. You're empty, she whispers. I'm optimized. I snap. No, she says, getting out of bed. You've excavated everything human out of yourself because you're terrified of variables you can't control. She leaves. Breaks up with me via text the next morning. Project terminated due to lack of stakeholder buy-in. Funny. I am alone again. But this time, the silence is louder. My dad has a stroke. I get the call on a Tuesday afternoon. I am in a code review. I take the call in the hallway. He's in the ICU, Alex. My mom sobs. You need to come home. I look at my calendar. Product launch is in 2 weeks. Critical path. I can come for the weekend, I say. Alex, he might not make it to the weekend. Her voice is a frequency I haven't heard before. Raw panic. I feel a glitch in my system. Okay, I'll book a flight. First class. I work on the plane. Wi-Fi is spotty. It irritates me. I land in Ohio. It's gray. Cold. Rental car smells like stale cigarettes. The hospital is old. Fluorescent lights buzzing. I walk into the room. My dad looks small. Wires everywhere. Monitors beeping. A machine is breathing for him. My mom is in the chair next to him. She looks 10 years older than last week. She hugs me. She smells like hospital soap and fear. He was asking for you, she says. I stand by the bed. I look at the man who raised me. He worked hard. He followed the rules. And now he's hardware failing in a budget facility. I feel anger. This is the end result of a normal life? Dying in a gown that doesn't close in the back? I take his hand. It's cold. Calloused. Hey, Dad, I say. He opens his eyes. They are cloudy. He tries to speak. The tube stops him. He squeezes my hand, weakly. I look at the monitor. Heart rate irregular. Oxygen saturation dropping. I find myself analyzing the data, predicting the crash. Then he looks at me. And for a second, the data disappears. I see fear. I see love. I see a desperate need for connection in the final moments. He wants to know he mattered. He wants to know his legacy is safe. Me. I am his legacy. And what am I? A high-yield savings account in a human suit. I try to say something meaningful, something human. I'm doing well, Dad. The stock options just vested. I wince. Why did I say that? He closes his eyes. The squeeze fades. He dies 2 hours later. Code blue. Doctors rushing. My mom's screaming. I stand in the corner. Useless. My money can't fix this. My optimization can't pause this. Death is the ultimate system failure. The funeral is 3 days later. Relatives I haven't seen in a decade. Casseroles. Cheap whiskey. People telling stories. He fixed my roof for free. He drove me to the airport in a blizzard. He always had a joke ready. They are talking about his social capital. Things that don't show up on a balance sheet. I realize I have none of this. If I died tomorrow, my coworkers would be annoyed at the vacancy. My portfolio would transfer to a trust. And that's it. No stories. No gratitude. Just a void where a person should have been. I fly back to SF. I try to return to the routine. 5 a.m. cold plunge. Meditate. Work. But the code looks like gibberish. The numbers on the screen are just pixels. I sit in my minimalist apartment. 3.8 million net worth. I order a pizza. A real, greasy, gluten-filled pizza. It tastes like guilt and pleasure. I open a dating app. I turn off the filters. No income requirement. No degree requirement. I swipe. I match with a girl named Maya, art teacher. Likes pottery and rescue dogs. We meet for coffee. She's late. She spills her latte on her scarf. She laughs about it. I'm a disaster today, she says. Old me would have walked out. Inefficient. Messy. New me sits there. It's okay, I say. Entropy is natural. She smiles. You talk like a textbook. I'm trying to rewrite the edition, I mutter. We talk. She talks about her students. How one of them made a clay bowl that fell apart, and he cried, but they fixed it together. It's the cracks that make it real, she says. Kintsugi philosophy. I listen. I don't analyze. I just listen. She asks me what I do. I optimize systems, I say. But I think I optimize myself out of the loop. She tilts her head. You can always plug back in. The port is universal. We date. It's chaotic. She has a dog that sheds. My pristine apartment gets fur on the sofa. I twitch. But I don't clean it immediately. She wants to go to farmers markets on Sundays. My prep time is disrupted. My sleep score drops. My productivity dips 10%. But I laugh. Actually laugh. Not a polite chuckle. A belly laugh when the dog steals a bagel off the counter. 6 months in. We are lying in bed. It's a Tuesday. We didn't schedule sex. We just existed. I want kids someday, she says. The old panic flares. Kids are expensive. Kids are chaos. Kids destroy early retirement plans. I look at the ceiling. I think about my dad. I think about the silence in the hospital room. I think about the empty apartment before Maya. I know the stats, I say. They cost roughly $300,000 to raise to 18. They consume 40% of your free time. They increase stress markers. Maya stiffens. She pulls away. Okay, Mr. Spock? I get it. I grab her hand. I wasn't finished. She looks at me. The stats say it's a bad investment, I say. But I think my risk tolerance has changed. She softens. Are you sure? You can't optimize a toddler, Alex. I know, I say. I'm willing to run the simulation unpatched. She kisses me. It feels better than a stock vest. A year later, we get married. Small ceremony. Not optimized. The flowers were late. It rained. My shoes got muddy. I didn't care. My mom was there, she cried. Your dad would have liked her, she says. I know, I say. I'm still rich. I'm still smart. But the goalposts moved. Net worth isn't the score anymore. Net happiness is. We have a son, Leo. He screams at 3 a.m. My sleep is destroyed. My aura ring thinks I'm dying. I am exhausted. I am covered in spit up. I haven't checked the crypto markets in weeks. I hold him. He looks at me. His eyes are brand new. No legacy code, just potential. I'm going to teach you Python. I whisper to him, but first, I'm going to teach you how to fish. Even though I hate fishing. Because some things aren't about the catch. They're about the time spent holding the rod. I realize that optimization is a trap. If you optimize everything, you eventually optimize away the struggle. And the struggle is where the life happens. I'm tired. My bank account is growing slower. My apartment is messy, and for the first time in my life, I am actually online. System status: operational.